Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making jewelry. I kind of recently stumbled upon the world of jewelry making because I was trying to recreate a pair of earrings that I saw online that were super expensive, and that opened my eyes to how simple and easy it can be to make certain jewelry pieces. So obviously I'm just getting started. I'm not a professional at this. I'm sure there are some better ways to make some of the pieces that I did. But I made these earrings. These are the ones that I was trying to recreate. And it only took me probably 30 minutes when I made them for the first time. And the materials were really inexpensive and they're good quality, so they're gonna last. And that just got me really excited. So I wanted to show you guys how you can make your own super nice looking wearable jewelry pieces super inexpensively and pretty easily with just a little bit of patience. So let's just get on into this video. Okay, so we are starting with a really simple pair of hoop earrings, and I'm using an 18 gauge brass wire. I'll have all the details of exactly what I'm using down below. But first I'm just gonna cut off one round of wire, and then taking this small candle holder, I am wrapping the wire around to get a perfect circle. Then I'm using my flat nose pliers to bend one end up and taking the other end and wrapping it around twice. Then after the coil is all nice and tight, I'm clipping off the extra wire, maybe injuring my plant a little bit, and now I'm placing the hoop back around the candle holder and bending the remaining wire to the right. Then I'm just gonna trim it down a little bit before using my round nose pliers to make a loop on the top. And that is basically how you make a simple hoop earring. And now we just have to add the hook. So I'm using these simple gold-plated hooks, and I'm just bending the wire to the side, threading it through the loop, and then bending it back. So simple. You can definitely wear these just as they are, but I wanted to make them a little bit more special. So using this moon bead and a smaller gauge wire, I'm gonna wrap the wire around one side of the hoop a few times until it's secure, tighten it up, and then trim it down. Then I'm going to shape the wire a little bit just with my fingers into kind of an irregular line across the earring, and then I'm going to string my bead so that it hangs right in the middle. Then I'm just securing the wire on the other side, and voila, we have created this super cute hoop. This literally took 10 minutes from start to finish. Okay, moving on to these fancy things. We are using a 16 gauge silver plated wire for this one, and we're starting pretty much the same way by wrapping around, this time a water bottle cap, bending one side up, wrapping the other end around, and this is where it gets a little bit different. So I'm taking that same end and pressing it down, then I'm taking my pliers, bending the top wire to the right, and forming a loop. And this wire is a lot harder than the last wire, it's also thicker, so pliers are definitely very useful here, but I'm just wrapping the wire around as tight as I can 3 times, cutting off the extra, tightening that up, and that forms the top part of the hoop. And then we're pretty much doing the same exact thing on the bottom, bending the wire to the right, making another loop, wrapping the wire around. These are a lot of words, but that leaves us with something that should look a little bit like this. And now I'm taking a cowrie shell and a thinner silver wire, and I'm basically using the same wire wrapping techniques that we've been using to make a loop so that I can attach the shell to the earring. Then I've collected a few chains that I'm repurposing from some old jewelry, and I'm going to take a few jump rings, attach those to each chain, and then secure them onto the earrings. And I really love how each chain has a different texture. I think it just adds a little something. But to finish it off, I'm adding a pair of silver plated hooks, and that, my friends, is the completed earring. Not so complicated after all, and these are definitely my new favorite hoops. Moving on to this beauty of a necklace, we are going to be using these rhodonite gemstone beads, which have this gorgeous natural pink color, and the centerpiece will be this gold-plated hammered moon. We'll also be using some tiny gold beads and a few different jewelry components, along with this nylon thread that has this attached needle, which will be very handy because if you didn't notice, these beads are super small. So to start the necklace, I'm threading my string through the loop at the top and then taking a crimp bead, which just looks like a normal old bead right now, threading that through and then pulling the other side through so that it looks something like this. Then, in order to tie off the string here, I'm using my pliers to crimp the bead, joining the two strings together, which just makes it so that we have a seamless start to our necklace. And to make that look a little bit nicer, I'm taking a crimp cover, which kind of just looks like half of a bead, and putting it around the crimp bead, closing it up with some pliers so that it looks like we just have a little cute round bead. And now that we got that out of the way, I'm just going to bead like normal, adding 1 gold bead for every 8 rhodonites until we have this pretty pattern. And then I measured it out to see how long it would be, and I decided to add a few extra gold beads at the end just to get my desired length. But to finish this side off, I'm adding yet another crimp bead along with this tiny gold clasp, and then I'm threading that back through a few beads, pulling it tight, and then securing the end by crimping the bead. I know that was a lot, but then I'm just trimming off the extra string, adding another crimp cover, and that is one side complete. I'm just going to do the exact same thing on the other side until we get to the end, where I'm going to add a closed jump ring, secure it with a crimp bead and a crimp cover, connect the two sides, and we have a necklace. I really love the way this one turned out. I think it's just so lovely, and I can't wait to wear it. And now for the last few pieces, we're making some simple bracelets. Again, we're using gemstones, so I have moonstone, amazonite, and rhodonite beads, along with a few different charms and elastic cord. And now we're just gonna make a few basic stretch bracelets. I feel like I don't even really have to talk through this one, but I'm just tying a bead at the end of my string to prevent any beads from falling off. And then I'm just beading like normal. I decided to add this little T charm to this bracelet, and once I had enough to wrap around my wrist, I took off that bead that I had tied at the end, and I tied my bracelet using a surgical knot, which really just means wrapping the string around twice. It's kind of hard to see here because the string is clear, but it just makes the knot a little bit stronger. I would also recommend using a little dab of glue. I didn't have any at the time, but it will just make sure that the knot never comes undone. So yeah, that is really all there is to it. You can make so many different kinds of bracelets this way, and I think using natural stones really just makes them special. I love how this pink moon one turned out, but I would also wear all 3 paired together. I think they look really sweet. Those are all the pieces that I made today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you end up making any of your own jewelry, or if you already make your own jewelry, send me a photo because I would love to see what you make or what you've already made. I'll have all the materials that I used linked down below. But with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!